Hi, everyone, and welcome to this fourth edition of the Development Diary for Portage. Today is June the 5th, and I've got two really exciting things to show you. Let's just get cracking. The first thing is a new website. If you've come across the landing page before, you would have noticed it was kind of a little bit bare bones. It didn't really have an opportunity for me to explain other bits of information. So while I'm still retaining the waitlist and the questionnaire, I've decided to launch a website that will provide a larger space to explain more about the platform. So let's go have a quick look at that now. I'll just make me a little bit smaller. So you can see the branding's a little bit different. It's got some videos, just using some of the content from the existing landing page and starting to just renovate that a little bit. And I wanted to just get really specific about explaining what the platform can do, what its benefits are. So here's just a little bit of interactivity to kind of understand things, how it works, just really, really simply. And then to explain some of the other features. Now, in the future, these will probably link off to more detailed pages. And then I've also got an FAQ. The other thing we've got is a little bit more of an about page that explains a bit more about the platform and why I think it should exist. And then I'm starting to create some blog articles to just talk about different facets of the platform and how it might be useful. So that's the new website. But the most exciting thing that I really want to show are the boards. Now, if you remember, over the past couple of weeks, we've had a look at the trends. We've got a database of trends. We've also got a chat, which, as I showed to you last time, really took advantage of the ability to generate user interfaces using AI. And so that's essentially what the boards are doing, is they're using AI to generate different user interfaces. And what we're using the boards to do is to walk through different types of strategic thinking or strategic development. So there's some, eventually there will be templates around trend analysis, scenario development, strategy development, could be others, where we might constrain the tools that you can use on the page to just keep things focused. Right now, it's just really open because we're still very, very early in development. But the best way to understand it is probably to show you. So we'll just start with a new board. Now, there's nothing going on here. It's really just a 2D interface. Now, if you've used something like Miro or Mural or any of the kind of virtual whiteboards, you'd be very much at home. So you can zoom in and out. You can pan around, but let's get started with actually creating something. So when we do things like scenario development, we want to start with a focus question. And sometimes coming up with the right focus question is a bit of a challenge. So the very first step that we take using the Portage boards is to create a focus question node, and then we ask it, let's create a focus question. So I'm concerned about technology disruption. I can then generate, and I'm just going to zoom out a bit because it's going to plunk down some questions here, and we can see what it's come up with. We can say, how can we anticipate, prepare for emerging technologies? What are the key trends in technology that might disrupt us? And how can we leverage technology disruption to create new opportunities for growth and innovation? So I like that third one. Now we can click trend scan. Now what that's going to do is it's going to drop on a trend scan node. And you can kind of see how things are starting to work out on the board, that each step that we're taking in the process is creating a new node. And it's letting us kind of have a bit of a visual experience here. So I can now inside the trend search, I can provide some parameters. Perhaps I'm looking far off into the future. So maybe I want to look at from 2080 onwards, or maybe I want to look at something that's a little bit more near term. But I'm going to leave it open for now. We can change the search precision. And what that is if you remember a few weeks ago, we looked at the trend search. It's a semantic search, and so it's not searching for keywords, it's searching for concepts. And what this dial does is lets us say, well, how far away of a concept do we want to search for? So if we set up the precision to 9, it's going to be very narrow, versus if we put it down to 1, it's going to be quite wide in what it's looking for. So I'm happy with 2 or 3, and I only want to get 5 results back. So if I hit search there, it's going to go and search for trends that are related to that focus question, but also to my strategic profile. So we should also remember that inside Portage, we create a profile. So if we just move me out of the way here, we can have a look here. I'm pretending to be a aged care business called Galaxy Care, and I've got some goals and some challenges and so on. So when we go back to the board, we can then see that in the trend search, it's not only looking for things related to that focus question, it's actually also looking for things related to what was in that strategic profile. So I can have a look through here and see, okay, here's a trend called decentralized IT. That looks interesting. Let's add that. Cultural stasis in the search for emergent trends. Well, that's actually not that relevant. The great rebalancing. This is about reshaping labor markets. Not really. Acceleration of digital transformation, definitely going to be impacting us. So let's grab that one. I also think about what are some emerging technologies. So let's have a look at what emerging technologies we can find. So we'll do a trend scan with that. And we can see that there is a bit of overlap. We can see that great rebalancing has come back. But we also have tech-enabled transformation. So let's grab that one. And we're going to grab this workforce one as well. So you can see quite quickly, we've grabbed a bunch of trends. Look, I don't really want this question, so we can just delete that. Bring this down here to kind of tidy things up. Now the next step is going to be generating some scenarios based on these trends. So I can go over here and I can add a new scenario generator. Now let's probably put it over here. Still working on the layout engine to make things a little bit easier, but it's not too bad. I can then connect the 2 trend scans to my scenario, and then I can pull those trends into the scenario. So this actually might happen in the background in the future, but I'm trying to be really explicit about how these things are working just as I'm trying to figure it out. So now we're over in the scenario generator. We can see the trends that I'm looking at. There's 4 trends there. I want to do a 2x2 scenario. It's the only one that I've implemented at the moment. But in the future, you could change to different scenario types. Now, I can type in an uncertainty here, but part of the, I guess, value of this platform is using AI to help you. So let's just go ahead and generate some critical uncertainties. So this is going to look at the trends. It's also going to look at that strategy profile, and it's going to suggest here are 6 critical uncertainties that are worthwhile generating scenarios. And if we hover over these things, you can see it's provided a justification as to why it thinks each of those uncertainties are important to look at. So if we were doing a scenario planning process, this might be something that we do as a group where we can then have a discussion and say, well, actually, organization culture is really important, and innovation is really important for us. Those are the 2 most critical uncertainties. Now, the next step is to generate some scenario titles. The AI is usually really good at coming up with things, but sometimes you need to run this through a couple of times just to get something exactly the way that you want it. Now, if we all remember what a 2x2 scenario is, it's taking the high and low of each of the uncertainties into a 2x2 quadrant or a 2x2 matrix, and each quadrant is then the intersection of the high or low of each of those uncertainties. And so that's how it's generated these scenarios. For example, harmony and innovation is high organizational culture and high innovation. Cultural renaissance, for example, is high culture but low innovation. So you can see that it's also provided a bit of a hint as to what that scenario what might actually happen in that scenario. In the low one, it leads to stagnation and struggle for Galaxy Care. So the next step, I'm pretty happy with these. I'll just show you how easy it is to generate them again. It tends to narrow in. You can see it hasn't even changed the title. It's changed a few other words there because the AI is actually pretty confident that these are quite good scenarios. So let's just go ahead and create these nodes. And I'm just going to pop out a bit so we can see what's happening here. Each of those scenarios, the titles has gone into a scenario instance here. And so you can see this is harmony and innovation, cultural renaissance, and so on. So the next step is really pretty simple. We just click generate scenario. Now for the purposes of demonstration, I'm only using, I think I said to make something around 100 words long. As development goes on, I'm going to add more controls so that you can fine tune the scenario and also change its length. But you can see inside this, it's created a little narrative scenario that's explaining what that future looks like for, in this case, Galaxy Care. We can go through and generate other scenarios. Those are all coming in now. It's pretty nice that it's able to work in parallel. And we can see we've got 4 distinct scenarios based on our scenario matrix, which has come from the trend search, which has come from 2 different focus questions. And we now have a nice little visual way of understanding these scenarios. In future, so what's going to come next is stress testing, impact assessment, risk assessments, courses of action planning, and then the final piece of the puzzle will be something along the lines of a robust strategy generator, where it will take these scenarios plus other information that we can gather through this process to then start to generate a plan that you'll be able to put into play that will have the benefit of being tested against these scenarios, that will have other additional input around risks and help you be set up for success. So this is really just the gist of the model and how things work. We can see, we can pop back here. That's all that I have to show you this week. Development's probably going to slow down, if I'm honest, over the next couple of weeks, because it is the school holidays for the kids, which means it's spending a little bit more time with them. But we'll be resuming development and doing as much as I can. So stay tuned for the next development diary. And then until then, take care and we'll see you soon.